something which we are, you know, grateful for. This pandemic has created a different perception in our mind that how we are surviving these days, right? There are news these days that the fourth wave of COVID is, is nearing, and we are all scared of this scenario. But let me tell you a different perspective of how you can think about this new year can be, designed in such a way that your mind, your thought process is well developed to think about your goals, your success, and your happiness throughout. Like, how many of you would love to have time freedom? I'm sure everyone would love to have it. But then, have you designed your day or your time management in such a way that you have time for yourself, for your work, for your family, for your growth? It's very easy, but lots of them, or most of the people, have this myth or this misconception in their mind that they do not have time. It's a very simple way that you can design your time using a time box technique. The time box technique is something which is very effective, and most of the successful people use this particular technique to make sure that their prioritized work gets completed within a specific time frame. There are tools which are available online. I'm sure you all must be using it. You can use your Outlook calendar, you can use your Google calendar, you can use your phone to set alarms. So it's a kind of setting a time for your priority one and priority two tasks. So it's a process which I'm going to talk about, it how you can manage your time, your 24 hours effectively, right? So traditionally, we are told that 8 hours sleep is important for us. But scientifically, it says 6 hours sleep is enough for you to give rest to your body. So if you take out 6 to 7 hours from your 24 hours, you have that left amount of time for you to plan your entire day, right? So out of 24 hours, if you remove 6 hours, you have 18 hours of time to decide how you can effectively work on your tasks, work on yourself, give time to your family, think about how you can spend the entire day productively, right? I'm talking about time management because most of my known people have this one sentence that, how do I manage time? I have a lot of work. I cannot complete my work on time. I really don't understand why this particular sentences are said by people. One, I think they are just delaying the process of completing the work or not prioritizing that work. Or two, they are struggling with their tasks which they have taken with them as a responsibility because they want to prove something to someone else. So one thing which I want to just recommend, that if you want to make sure that you complete your tasks every single day on what I can say quality product delivery, you take tasks which is within your knowledge area, within your capability and skill sets. So 6 hours we have kept for your relaxation, for your sleep. As soon as you get up, you think about what you need to do the entire day. That 10-15 minutes of your time after you're freshen up, you are ready with your tasks identification before you start your work. Just spend 10 to 15 minutes on identifying what are your top priority tasks. So I divide my top priority tasks in priority one and priority two, and I focus on priority one tasks, which is very useful for us or for everyone to make sure that you give a productive output by the end of the day, right? The time box technique helps you to make sure that you achieve those tasks in the defined timeline. So what you can do is As soon as you identify what all tasks priority one you have to do, just block your calendar on Outlook, or your Google Calendar, or on your phone, and make sure that you start working on those tasks in that particular time box. You can set a time box for your breakfast, that within this particular time frame I will have my breakfast. Within this particular time box I can do my workout. Within this particular time box I'll do my meditation. Within this particular time box I can work on my priority one tasks, priority two tasks, and within a specific time box I will spend time with my family, and I can spend time on my learnings. So 6 hours in your sleep, you spend 1 hour or 2 hours in your meals like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I say half an hour each meal, so 1.5 hour there. So 18 minus 1.5 hour is 16 and a half hours you still have. 16 and a half hours. So 16 and a half hours, in that you work for 9 hours, right? So you have your sleep, you have meals, and 9 hours for your work, right? So 16 and a half hours, you have 7.5 hours left for your rest of the work. You can work out for 1 hour. You have 6.5 hours of time for you to decide what you can do. You can read a book, you can learn, you can do online trainings for an hour, you can read a book for an hour, you can spend time with your family for 2 hours. You still have 1 or 2 hours left. So the planning is should be in such a way that you have defined your priority, you have defined all the categories: your work, yourself, your family, your self development, and your exercise. And then you divide all these tasks in your 24 hours and make sure you do it consistently, so that you can see the results very soon. So once you decide, let's come and talk about something which is very important in your professional work timelines, right? 9 hours. Let's focus on those 9 hours. Now, the time which I say that 9 hours, that also includes your breaks, right? So we still consider 9 hours as your work timings. The start of the work, before you start working, identify what two tasks or three tasks you have to do, or you have to get it done by within this 9 hours. And when you block the calendar for those timings, make sure that time is a, what I can say, very focused time box where you only work on those priority one tasks. You cannot do multiple things at one time. If you're focusing on writing a code, focus on writing a code and finish the code which you think you will be able to do in that particular time box. If you've also added a code review time box for that particular code, spend the time only in code reviewing, not just saying, okay, I can write, 10 line codes more and then I'll do. No. If you said, okay, 2 hours, 3 hours, I'll write only the codes, do your research, write your code. And then if you say 2 hours, I'll do my code review testing, do that. Don't focus on multiple things at a time. Focus on your priority one tasks and make sure you complete your priority one tasks in your work timings. And if you have time left, then focus on your priority two tasks, right? And once you start implementing these techniques, the time box techniques, you see slowly you will start gaining efficiency in the way you manage your time. You will have time for yourself, you will have time for your productive hours, which is working hours. You will have time for yourself in terms of exercising, being fit, but healthy physically and mentally. You will have time for your family. You will have time for your self development, because every day 30 minutes learning is something most of the successful people do. So if you want to be successful in your life, keep learning. Every day is a learning. That's what I tell every one of my friends, my colleagues, my mentees. Every day is a learning. The more you learn, the more you implement, the more you fail, and the more you learn, right? So that's how the circle of development works. The more failure, the more perfection you get, right? It depends upon how you can learn from the failures, right? So failures are always good. I've also written an article on that. But failures are your best teachers. right? So this is how you can define your time every single day. I wanted to talk about this in the start of the year, because if you start implementing these technique of time boxing your tasks every single day, you will see yourself managing time very well. If you're working for 12 hours, 14 hours, then you need to understand what is, eating your time, or what is the time consuming tasks, and break them into different tasks, short tasks. I've seen people working for 14 hours, 16 hours. It's very obvious that if you're working for 16 hours, then that means you either have taken things which is over beyond your skill set, or which is very short term time critical events, right? While taking those tasks, I would recommend that evaluate how much time it will take for you to deliver it, and make sure you focus on getting things done. Don't get diverted when you're working on these time box activities. So, time boxing your activities is the best way to manage your time. Prioritize your daily tasks. As soon as you get up, think about what exactly you need to achieve the by the end of the day, and you should spend time in meditating. Do daily exercise of gratitude, visualizations, imaginations, and these will help you build your strong mindset to make sure that you consistently follow these time box activities. So if you like these kind of suggestions or recommendations, reach out to me. My book is coming in this month, so read that book. That book is very helpful in terms of helping yourself in becoming an ace performer at workplace or in life. I've talked about many stories which I have gone through in my life. I've started my career as a nurse, but during 16 years of my career, I now have been transformed to a technology SME. I'm working as a senior director in an IT organization. But the journey from nurse to a senior director was absolutely, transforming. I've learned the hard way, and I just want everyone who is going through this particular career transformation should learn from these learning experiences which I have learned, and I've documented everything in my book, so you can take those inspirations, those learnings, understand what exactly you should do in terms of growing in your career, right? So be connected to my community. There is a WhatsApp group I have where I share a lot of information every single day. Reach out to me if you need any information around your career growth, and I will definitely help you. I promise. If you talk to me, there's guaranteed you will learn something by the end of the discussion. So be focused, be consistent, be dedicated, and be invincible.